developments. You've been referring to Taiwan, and there's news coming in regarding that. Tensions are once again rising across the Taiwan Strait as Beijing is preparing a massive military parade to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. Taiwan has sharply criticized this display, accusing China of spending the equivalent of 2% of its defense budget, more than 36 billion yuan or $5 billion to project military power and quote-unquote rewrite history. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council has stated that Beijing was falsely claiming credit for wartime victories fought largely by the Republic of China, whose government later fled to Taiwan after the Civil War. Remember, it was the Republic of China and its representative who had signed the Cairo Agreement in 1936. Former Pentagon official Tony Hu has told reporters that while China is showcasing new unmanned systems and advanced hardware, its real test lies in tactics, strategies, and operator capability, where it still lags behind. Beijing's parade is aimed at intimidating Taiwan and deterring U.S. intervention, is what he has claimed. He's also stated that this is fueling nationalism in Xi's home turf. Let's in fact take a look at what he said.
A psychological warfare tool. It's an opportunity for China to showcase many of their new things. They're new, but based on our operational research, it's not necessarily proven. They will demonstrate many big things, many unmanned systems and stuff, but once again, they're not really proven. I suspect the primary audience is Taiwan. They really hope Taiwan gets intimidated and surrender without a fight. And they also want to intimidate the United States from coming to help Taiwan. And certainly they want to incite the kind of national pride within their own country by saying, we have all this big new stuff. And boy, we can march so well.
我们也感觉到非常的好奇哦，就是说花费这么大的这个巨额的数目来举办一场阅兵哦，那今天9月1号正好是中国实施强制社保的日子哦，那有很多的这个基层的这个中小企业啦，甚至是劳工哦，缴不起这个保费，那他们愿意花费超过1500亿台币来举办一场军演，但是却忽略掉现在中国内部经济、还有劳工、还有社会这些问题哦。我也不晓得这个中国的人民碰到这样的情况，心里会作何感？
All right, I'd like to rope in Mr. Sutherland back into the discussion. It has been 80 years since the Second World War ended. However, China and Taiwan continue a narrative battle over who did what during the deadly war. And I'd like to correct one claim I had made earlier. It was not 1936, it was 1943 when US President Franklin Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and China's Republican leader Chiang Kai-shek had signed the Cairo Declaration. It seems that the Taiwanese and the CCP are still fighting to date to claim credit for this victory. So do you see this parade as an attempt by Xi Jinping to popularize the CCP's narrative?
I think it's rather interesting that you raise some very, very important history. We have to go back to San Chao-chek. We have to go back to Mao. We have to go back to the machinations that were going on within the U.S. State Department at that time, because this has been going on for a long time. If people then want to have an ideology of worldwide communism, which is continuing to unfold, then we need to pay attention to the past to realize where we are at now. I think the report that you just played with very important words from America in regard to saber rattling, I alluded to that in our first section, is look at all our new weapons, wanting Taiwan to then surrender. As many of us are aware, there's water there that at times is very, very difficult to then cross, and ideally I think it's either April or October, but they have been building these sort of atolls that China are doing to be able to get closer and closer. And that piece was right in regard to intimidation, and then in regard to intimidating the Americans to not get in. many of us have to go back and read history. We then have to see the manipulation that's gone on by China. If you then look up the second administration of the Clinton administration and see how much money they were then putting into that campaign, this then opens people's eyes to see that this war has been a very, very long game. The Chinese play a long game. We may, within the West, don't necessarily play that long game, but we need to and prepare for that. The issue, as you said, you're right. It is, I believe, what that gentleman says is absolutely right. It is about intimidation, and then if they want the Taiwanese to then just accept, surrender, and say yes, okay, that's fine. But to spend all this money to then have a big military parade, to then have North Korea there, to then have the Russian leader Putin, it all plays into this, which is we will flex our muscles. Um, we will show what the military hardware we have, and if we have to use it, then we do. There is talk out there that the Chinese have said that by I believe 2027 is when they wish to then by then have taken Taiwan, if not before. So we have to be very, very alert to this and the machinations of going on. That's why all of the talk of the SCO, etc. That's why, and paying attention to this. That's why it's very, very important. We come back to what we've discussed over the last day or so, which is about the alliances, Pia, that people are working through. Pia.
Right, Mr. Sutherland, I'd like to thank you for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World as we track these crucial developments. Viewers, now we are shifting our focus to Mexico, where